What up, YouTube? It's your boys, Detroit Love, P-Dubs Arcade Love, Michael B. the Game Genie, and Nostalgia with another episode of the Super Game Room Dudes Friday night. Just got live.
What's up, guys? And Andy's Game Room, I greatly appreciate you saying best intro music on any stream. Thanks so much for that. I'm actually kind of sick of it, guys. We've been rocking the same intros for we've been doing this show over 3 years. And we've only changed the intros and the layouts and graphics. Like, we've only changed that like twice in 3 years. So sometimes stuff gets kind of stale. Let us know in the live chat. As well as I'm going to ask my co-hosts right now, impromptu, if we decide to continue doing this show into 2024, should we kind of freshen things up? Should we kind of freshen up what we do, like graphics?
Can I make a suggestion?
And artwork?
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
If we do decide that we are going to freshen things up, can you tell us about it instead of just going and getting one done?
Well, yes. We'll talk about it. Detroit Love, what do you think, man? Do we need like new backgrounds, new screen setups, new overlays, new countdown clocks, new intros, thumbnails?
I think what we need to do is actually get to season 3. You know, that would be a fresh start right there.
We're in season 2.
We're still in season 2. We were going to do a season finale and do season 3, and then we ended up not. What about you, Nostalgia? You got a voice on this panel. Is it time for a change if we decide to keep going?
You are asking the wrong dude, man. Have you seen my channel? I haven't changed my artwork since I started my channel. It's been 4 years. And it's still the same. Nothing has changed.
Oh, I'm seeing a lot of people in the live chat just say, keep going. You guys don't think the show's stale? Let us know in the live chat. Is the show stale? Does it suck? Let us know in the live chat.
Hey, Nostalgia, I do want to let you know is your videos do still have that new car smell to them.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Carl. Thank you.
And what's funny too is like every year we begin the new year, we add new segments and stuff, and we do them for like a couple of months, like Nostalgia's VR stuff and other stuff. And then what happens after a couple of months? Usually by March, it's just back to the same old formula. 4 guys sitting around talking about the headlines and reacting to the news. That's pretty much always been the essence of the show. And as much as we love doing. Like you'd have to go watch all the old episodes, funny clips, funny songs. You guys remember the Tryon Hall, the Attack from Mars Alien skit, Michael B, YouTube superstar, the skit. Like we've done a lot of that stuff and it adds a lot of comedy and fun to the show, but it takes a lot of time to make that stuff happen, right? And we try to add new things and then we're like, we got this new segment. And then a couple months later, we're like, yeah, let's just talk about what's happening. Maybe our show.
Remember Game of the Week
show.
Oh yeah,
Game of the Week. Game of the Week lasted for 2 or 3 months.
100%. This is probably the worst collaboration show in the home arcade space. I agree.
I remember when we started the show, it wasn't just going to be a home arcade live stream. It was going to be everything.
Yeah, well, it still can be everything. I try to talk about everything.
It is everything. We talk about consoles. We talk about modern gaming. We talk about all that stuff. Hell, tonight we're talking about the Retroid Pocket 4 Nostalgia. You're going to be leading
because I had to argue and pull it out of Mike's mouth. I was like, "Hey, Mike, here's a new topic."
I said it was cool.
Like, we're not talking about that.
Great topic.
Yeah, I know you.
Nostalgia has illicit dealings with these, weird emulation companies for handhelds, and then he's like, "Hey guys, we should talk about this." Yeah. No disclosure on whether or not he's getting a review copy or working with them or anything like that.
No, I'm not working with these guys. It's coming out, and it's a freaking incredible device. And if you've ever used a Retroid Pocket, then you know they make some of the goddamn best products.
Yeah, but it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell when it's something seedy from Nostalgia and when it's something straight up. It was something straight up, so we added it. You're kind of a seedy guy.
We do need to do like us reacting. Here's how I got an idea for a show. Us reacting to our favorite moments on the show. And some of the favorite moments are the jokes that became inside jokes exclusive to this show for many months on end, including Mike's water bottle.
Oh, my internet is a mess.
Mike's water bottle. When Mike dropped the coffee cup and murdered his dog. Carl's going to come back once he finishes it. The Tryout Hall. What are some of the other? There's more. We
Nostalgia with his 60.39%.
Yes, Nostalgia 60.39%. The only flans. You remember we kept showing the flans with like the syrup getting poured on them, the caramel syrup?
I missed that.
I do too. That was fun.
The only flans. The Alyssa Milano prank where Alyssa Milano was on the AtGames Legends Ultimate arcade machine talking to Michael B. Like that was some good
No,
stuff.
that was the iArcade.
Or the iArcade. Yeah. But in essence, over the last 3.5 years that we've been doing this podcast, what this show is obviously just four guys just talking about the news and reacting to it. But it's a show that's got maximum potential with minimum effort put in.
Sounds like the rest of my life. Yeah.
Play Mike's Cat dropping bombs, dropping anchors is what it was called. You remember the dropping anchors?
So you asked me why it took so long for me to get my AtGames Killer Instinct video out. I came up and it was like a war zone in here. The cats and shit everywhere. I had to clean it up first.
Oh, we had phantom poops. We had stander uppers in the garage. We've had a lot of stuff that was inspired by Family Guy on the show. Yep, we'll talk about Killer Instinct. Pace yourselves, man. We got an hour show. We got time, Fred.
How long did you guys end up going after last night? Like I last Friday, I got sick. And I swear, like an hour and a half after I left the show, I turned on YouTube, and it was still two of you just talking away. How long was the show?
Me and P-Dubs are like the best of friends. We get along just fine. And when
that's good.
It's just the two of us going. It's like a true partnership.
Do you want to see
we
how
respect
good
each other? It's wonderful.
Yeah. Do you want to? Wasn't the vibe really good when it was just Nostalgia and me last week, guys? Let us know.
Probably. Everybody seems to hate me.
Oh wait, we're waiting for Carl. He's still having some issues. Carl, we'll get you in here shortly. Also, just to show you how much I love and support Steven, take a look, guys. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. Hey, Nostalgia, where can people buy this hoodie?
People can actually pick up that hoodie. And I should mention, before I tell them where, the value of that hoodie is incredible. It keeps you warm, not only in the winter, but even on those cool summer days. You can pick that up on my Teespring, which I don't even know what the link is. I think it's like teespring.com/nostalgia or some. You can go to my YouTube channel, and then I've got a link to it somewhere there as well if you want to buy some sweet stuff. That's also where we've got some dope Super Game Room Dudes merch. So I would say check it out. There might be something you like.
Yeah, make sure you check out Nostalgia's Teespring store. And Nostalgia does bring in 60.39% of the views. Oh, and the air fryer. I'll never forget the air fryer. It was such a good video of yours, Nostalgia.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, hold on. Nope, still no video feed, Carl. Your camera's not turning on, bro. Poor Carl. He's having so much trouble tonight.
My favorite thing about Carl is his difficulties with computer, seeing how he's an IT professional by trade.
He's not just an IT professional. He like manages a team of IT.
Meanwhile, he's on the show. He's like, I can't get my camera working. I can't get my microphone working.
Yeah. All right. So we got a number of topics we want to talk about tonight. Mike wants to continue to beat a dead horse and talk about Arcade1Up not being at CES.
What do you mean continue to beat a dead horse?
We are gonna that horse, that little Mustang on the ground in front of you, we are gonna flog it repeatedly and just beat the holy hell out of that dead horse.
It's more like a tiny horse.
Also, Steven Nostalgia has decided to step up his game and contribute to tonight's topic choices. We are going to talk about the Retroid Pocket 4, and Nostalgia is going to shill the holy hell out of this thing. Get ready, guys. Also, we got some late breaking AtGames news that just got released today regarding finally, we got a little bit of information about their upcoming new arcade machine, the 4K arcade machine. Michael B, Bad Dudes in 4K. We're going to talk all about it a little bit later. We're just waiting on Detroit Love here he's having issues. Detroit Love, I can see your internet strength, and your internet strength is just awful right now. I don't know what's going on there in Michigan. Is it snowing? Let us know in the
No.
live chat, my
No,
friend.
definitely not.
He's having some issues. And then also, we'll try and mix in some other stuff as well. This show always goes off the rails. Would we consider the Retroid Pocket 4? Would we consider that a console nostalgia or a handheld?
Oh, it's definitely a handheld.
Well,
Definitely a handheld.
So it sounds like something that might, but it's a console, right?
I mean, it's a handheld console, yes.
Nostalgia,
all handhelds are technically consoles now.
Right.
Nostalgia, we paid big money for these transitions. Please give me a reason to run it. Just say it's a console.
It is absolutely, without a doubt, a console.
Well, if it's a console, Nostalgia, that means it's time for console chatter. All right. Woo! Man, we paid good money for those. We're gonna get our pennies worth out of those. All right, so tell me all about the Retroid Pocket 4 for Nostalgia here. I'll see what I can pull up visually.
I was gonna share my screen.
Share your screen. Share your screen. You run
the
show.
I'm already on this, baby. I'm already here.
Nostalgia's contributing.
4. Here we go.
P-Dubs can sit back and relax. We still don't have a camera for you, Carl. I'm so sorry, buddy.
All right. So just announced for pre-order. I think yesterday was the first day. There are 2 versions. I don't know if anyone in the chat has actually used the Retroid Pocket, Retroid Pocket 2, the 2 Plus, the 3 Plus. They are, I would say, arguably some of the best valued handhelds. They've got typically highest performance in their price point. Controls and buttons are really great. Emulation is fantastic. The UIs are always nice and clean. Often they're dual OS. You can run Android or you can run a different OS that's off of an SD card. And they just announced, they didn't just announce this, but they just launched their pre-orders, and they're actually launching 2 devices. They've got the Retroid Pocket 4 and the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. And the difference is effectively the power on the SoC and a couple other smaller things. Price point on the 4 is going to be $150. Price point on the 4 Pro is $199. If you pre-order them today or tomorrow, I believe, they give you an extra $4 off, so you can actually save a tiny bit of money. It's not a ton, but if you're interested in picking one up, may as well take advantage of a $4 discount. They are shipping end of January. I think January 24th is what they said. And out of the gate, there are actually tons of different colors. So you've got the 16-bit, which kind of looks like your traditional consoles. And then
the 16-bit, go back for a second. 16-bit.
It's like Famicom.
Super Famicom, yeah.
Super Famicom. Then you've got black. You've got the North American Super Nintendo style. You've got a watermelon, kind of like they're going off of like the fantastic N64 colors. They've also got an ice blue, and then my personal favorite is the crystal. I think it just looks good, but it's just a cool option if you're into retro gaming handhelds. Yeah, I don't know. You guys want to talk about the specs? What do you guys want to talk about?
Before you get there, we got a number of questions from the live chat. They really want to pick your brain, Nostalgia, and see if you did your homework on this product. So for interest, JT would like to know: does it have taint mode?
It does have taint mode.
Okay.
It does have taint mode. Yep.
Can it play Doom?
It cannot play Doom. It's not powerful enough for Doom. Doom's quite an advanced game.
It's not FPGA?
It is absolutely not FPGA. It is not. It is not.
Can it run Crysis?
It probably cannot run Crysis.
Well, what system does it go up to, Nostalgia? Just PlayStation 2? Isn't that pretty much every handheld out there in the market?
No. So this one can actually run up to like Nintendo. You might be able to squeeze some Super Nintendo out of it, but that's effectively it.
So, Nostalgia, if I'm not mistaken, like most single board computers can't do PlayStation 2, right?
Yeah, PS2 is not something you typically see. If they can run it, it's like severely impacted with like frame skipping and things like that. Very low resolution. Most games don't play correctly.
So highest echelon for one of these devices, single board computer devices, is usually Dreamcast is as tops they can go usually, right?
I've seen some that can do GameCube fairly well. Once you start getting into some of these handhelds that are like $300, $400, $500, $600, then it's a whole different story. But those typically are like running Windows or running a Linux operating system.
Well, like
that
people
gives you more
doing
flexibility.
emulation on the Steam Deck and shit
That's
like that.
that's exactly right. If you're looking for something that's like a retro gaming handheld, there's not a ton of options out there that can effectively run
right.
Nintendo GameCube, PS2, or anything like that.
Here's my $1 million question. If this is meant primarily for retro gaming,
Yeah,
why the 16:9 screen?
that's a good question. I think, well, you got to keep in mind that like PSP games were running in a 16:9.
Ish.
Yeah, I know, but you still got to make room for that because this thing.
So
can
the poor
run...
emulation of PlayStation portable games, or
You gonna let me talk or no?
yeah, sure. go ahead.
Oh, damn!
You gonna let me talk? Or you just want to interrupt and make your point? So, anyways, like I said, this is a very powerful device that is going to be running a dual operating system, which would include Android, which means that you can download Android games which are in a 16:9 aspect
that's
ratio.
fair.
It needs to be able to accommodate that. It would be really stupid to put out a 4.3 device that's powerful enough to run Android type titles and not even be able to display them in their native resolution.
iArcade did it.
iArcade modified the games to run on their aspect ratio.
No,
That's
not
not
all
what
the
these guys are
time.
doing.
Not all the time. Sometimes they just had them letterbox.
Like, okay, well, that's stupid.
All right.
And that would be stupid on a small screen like that.
Nostalgia, we got some great questions. Can it do N64 and PSP? I think yes, right?
Yeah, I would say yes. Now, I don't have this device to actually test it, but based on the specs alone, it will have absolutely no problem running N64, PSP, PS1, Dreamcast. I think that you're going to actually get a fair chunk of the library for GameCube running, not really with any issues. I'd imagine you actually get quite a bit of PS2 running on here. This is going to probably provide some equivalency to what you would see on a slightly lower end, like Samsung, I don't know, Samsung S10, Samsung type of device in that realm in terms of its performance for things like PS2 games.
so
What about
nostalgia?
Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, P-Dubs.
Just want to make sure we don't ignore our amazing live chat this holiday weekend. Apex wants to know about battery life as well as storage.
Okay, so battery life, I think this thing's coming with a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which is quite large. That's similar to what you would see in a smartphone. Now, I don't know how much power is going to be drawn on that SoC. I've never used the specific SoC. If I had to guess, you're going to get 3 to 4 hours of gameplay at a minimum, maybe even 4 to 5. I think it's going to be fairly reasonable for what you get.
Okay.
And what was the second question? Storage space? I don't actually know what they're doing for storage. It looks like storage is 128 gigs on board plus expandable by SD card.
Nice. Now, the most important question is, does it cook julienne fries?
It does not cook julienne fries. However, it can do chicken tenders real nice.
So, Carl, do you get your audio working now?
I believe so. Can you hear me? Testing. 1, 2,
Yeah,
3.
Carl had a question ahead of time, but I'll ask it for him because he probably doesn't remember. Can you get Wet Girl running on it?
Do they have an Android? Do they have an Android version?
I'm sure they do. I mean,
Steam is having a big winter sale on Steam right now, guys. Make sure you check out Steam, and they got a whole bunch of games with some good deals. And it's kind of funny when you scroll through the games your friends play or like. Carl, it's pretty naughty what's happening over there in that house.
You're into some messed up shit, man.
What are you guys talking about?
Hey man, all I know is if I click on a game that Carl plays, I get brought to a screen that says you got to be over the age of 18 to proceed.
Honestly, the cops will come to your house and check your hard drive if you play the games Carl suggests you play.
Yeah. Oh, we got a really sweet comment. Carl, why don't you take care of this one?
Very thankful for the gift that you four have been this year to the community, though there will always be a Grinch or two. You boys keep staying the positive course. That's how we started off this year, right? We said, leave the negative behind. We've done that. Others have not.
Well, I don't know. I get pretty grumpy sometimes. I was pretty pissed off earlier today, man. What can I say? I got an Irish temper, bro. It's pretty
And
short fuse.
I was giving Dubs the business too, telling him all kinds of craziness that I was going to do a video on AtGames CES announcement, and they only told me and nobody else. And he was like, "This is bullshit. They should tell everybody."
well, with what happened with Arcade1Up having you share news, and you
That was
getting
weird,
some-
right? We'll talk
Yeah,
about that later.
I know, but you got some heat over it, and then you're
Well, I
going to
didn't
do the
get any
same.
heat.
Well, you're doing the same. Dude, there was an entire Reddit thread dedicated to you. People lost their
Yeah, but I don't go on
minds.
Reddit. I don't care.
I know, but the point is
If a tree falls in the woods and I'm not there to hear it, did it even fall?
But the point is I'm your friend. I try to look out for you, and I didn't want you to go through the same thing again twice in 1 week. You know what I'm saying?
I'll walk through the fire, man. I don't give a
Yep,
shit.
yep. G Dubs, Grumpy Dubs. Sometimes Grumpy Dubs does show up. There you go. Yeah, I'm not on any influencer list, despite what some troll knitting group, tinfoil hat wearing YouTubers say. I'm not on any goddamn influencer list.
So,
All right.
Nostalgia, someone in the chat said, Jim's Pacer fan says, so why would I purchase this over a Steam Deck? I think these are two very different devices. First of all, is price. I mean, you get the Steam Deck, you're going to pay a couple extra $100 for it, and then you can do most of these things. But this is more so for people who want to save a couple bucks and focus on retro gaming, right?
Yep, that's exactly right. So this is more of an a la carte style retro gaming handheld. The Steam Deck is obviously primarily marketed as playing your Steam games, right? You're going to be able to access your Steam library, download them, and play them. This is going to be more of like the tinkerers that want to sideload whatever games they want to play around with specific emulation. I mean, you could get a Steam Deck if you want to fuss with that in terms of emulation, but you are paying more. So there's that. Effectively it's a cost thing.
So another question I had on this one is, does this come preloaded, or do you have to get the games yourself after the fact?
So that's a good question. I don't know what Retroid is going to be doing with these. Oftentimes they send these out to different distributors, like third-party companies that sell them, and the third-party companies will throw a bunch. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I know that, I mean, a lot of these companies, same with Anbernic, typically when you're trying to buy them direct, they don't like to include games just because they run the risk of, getting in trouble. Yeah. But there will be ways to buy this thing with a preloaded SD card.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to that, because a couple of places that sell Anbernics, they just sell the Anbernic. They don't include the memory card with all the games. It's some of the other ones. Like, for instance, the Anbernic that I just got, the 35XX, I got it off Amazon, and it's not sold by Anbernic. It's sold by some company overseas, and they're the ones who put a memory card in there that had 5,000 games, not Anbernic themselves. And so you got to be careful too. Like, do you want to buy one fully loaded, or do you just want to buy just a thing and do the work yourself, right? So make sure you read the listings and all that stuff. Any other information about this? Are you telling me this is something we should consider buying, Nostalgia? Is that why you wanted to talk about this?
Honestly, yeah. If you're looking at handhelds, because I mean, I put out these videos all the time, and there's a lot of people who are like, I've been thinking about buying this or buying that. I mean, this one just was announced or just released for pre-order yesterday, and I didn't actually know that they were even doing a pre-order on this device. So it's reasonably priced. I mean, there's two different versions. You go with the Pro or you go with the regular, and the regular will be less powerful. You got 4 gigs of RAM versus 8 on the Pro. You're going to have a slightly less powerful octa-core processor in the 4 than you will on the 4 Pro. You can really pick and choose what you want, but my opinion is if you are in the market and willing to spend up to $200, the 4 Pro is probably going to be a go-to handheld that you will just use for everything. It'll replace all of your other retro gaming handhelds.
It's a good question from JT Brumwick.
Yep.
Brumwick.
Yeah, I saw him. He asked a question earlier, what Raspberry Pi would it be equivalent to? I don't know the actual benchmark specs against the Pi 5, but I would guess that this is probably in line with the Pi 5 because it's certainly a lot more powerful than the Pi 4.
Orange, raspberry, or pumpkin.
Orange, raspberry, or pumpkin? The orange Pi? I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to look at the chipsets and actually do a comparison.
I'd like to check out your chipsets.
It's going to be a lot more powerful than what's currently on the market in this price.
Now,
that's right.
Now,
you're going to put about $120 SoC is probably where you're looking, or a single board computer.
Now, Nostalgia, we have another very important question from our amazing live chat. Will this device fully support the latest cool toy set of ROMs?
Unfortunately not. He's got them encrypted, and it just can't crack that encryption. They're just... the security on those ROMs are just too tight.
Cool Toy
And
has
Doug
all
will
the
personally
ROMs.
come to your house and beat the shit out of you if you get them.
He gets so mad. We used to tell people to comment on his videos and ask where the ROMs are. And he would get so mad. Stop telling people to leaving those comments.
People need to take life less seriously.
No, people need to take life more seriously.
You're
Because
right.
that's a common. So what's funny is anytime you cover emulation on YouTube, there's always going to be those people who comment on your videos saying, "Can give me a link to the ROMs." You know, and we can't do that, guys, because we don't know. You could be some undercover something, right? Like, we don't know who you are. And if we share that link with you, now we're sharing pirated information. And because we have a YouTube channel, they can actually come after you, right? So that's why we never share direct links to download stuff. We show you how to make it work. But then, guys, you just got to go to Google, type it in, and boom, it pops up. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, it's always funny to troll Cool Toy.
Since we're on the emulation deal, I do have another product I want to talk about really quickly from Steven's favorite company, Kinhank.
Oh, for the love of God.
So anyways, I don't know if I can lift it up here. They sent me this gaming hard drive, and I don't know if you realized, like, the beginning of last year, RGT85 made a video about this huge hard drive you got with like everything on it. And I was like, geez, I started looking into them, but they were like $300, $400 here in Canada, maybe more. Anyways, Kinhank, after the 2 emulation boxes they sent me this hard drive. I started playing around with this the other night, and I am super impressed. It's got Hyperspin on it. It's got all kinds of craziness. Like, it even has Nintendo Switch games, somewhat playable. Not exactly as good as playing it directly on the Switch, but it's like got GameCube, which runs fantastically. I've got like a full Saturn library. I'm going to be able to play through Shining Force 3 if I ever get some goddamn time. So yeah, I'm in love with this thing. I planned on getting back into my emulation because I got all the ROMs and I got all the stuff. So I was going to set up, what's that thing you like, Nostalgia? RetroArch. And I was going to start getting everything. And I was like, man, that's a lot of work. But this thing is perfect. I just plug it into my computer, click a button, and I'm going. That's literally all I had to do.
JJ says, is that the same one that Sheline reviewed recently?
I think JJ asked me that on my community post too. I have no idea. I didn't see a video from her on it. To be honest, the only thing I watch now is Elmo and what's the other thing I watch? Miss Rachel. That's the only stuff I watch on YouTube right now because of my kid.
Mike, you missed an important thing that you got to disclose. This is important, and it's
What's
not
that?
a disclosure. These products that you're referring to, the one that you're talking about, this hard drive, is only as good as the computer running on it.
Oh yeah,
right? Because they are 100% reliant on the hardware that you have in your PC.
Yeah.
So if you got an old PC, you're not going to be running a Nintendo Switch or any of those other more advanced games. You're going to have fucking stuttering nightmare from hell.
100%. Yeah, you're
Look
right. I can include that in my review too. Thanks, Nostalgia. That's smart.
I know.
Carl,
Like
Mama knows.
P-Dub's
Mama knows.
computer, P-Dub's computer wouldn't work because P-Dub's got a piece of shit computer.
Yeah,
Like if he bought an Elgato 4K face cam, it wouldn't even work because
I know, that's ridiculous. P-Dubs lives in what, like 1992? What's the matter with you, man?
He's got an i2 with a
right.
11.
He's got a Pentium too.
I have a nice gaming laptop out in the loft that has a 3080 in it and good specs. It's great. But this PC that's right here in front of me has been the same PC that's been in front of me. Guys, we've been doing this now for 4 going on 5 years. So this PC's a little dated, right? This PC's only got, what is it, Nostalgia? The 1680? What was the
1660?
1660? This one, it's got 1660. I think it's only got like an i3 in here. Like
Ugh.
a lot of the stuff I've been trying to get working doesn't work on here, but it works on that nice, because I got a new laptop out there and it works on the laptop. So yeah, we're just talking about stupid stuff. I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully you guys are wrapping your Christmas presents, drinking some eggnog, and listening to the Super Game Room dudes. Jason, thanks so much for sharing that Amazon link for the one that Sheline reviewed. Might want to check that out. Also check out her review, guys. If she posted a review, we like Sheline, so hopefully.
Yeah.
I didn't see the review myself yet, but I'll put it on my list.
I'm working on another video, P-Dubs. Can you believe it?
Oh.
Another one.
Oh, speaking of which, guys, Carl, look at the value. Nostalgia is bringing topics to the show tonight. He's adding great value to the conversation, and he published 2 YouTube videos in a week. Is that crazy?
I love that you said great value, because technically Nostalgia is the great value ETA Prime. So that is perfect. He is bringing great value to the show.
Just adding some background music to our show.
Turn that off.
Yeah.
But why do you come on the show when you're loaded? Like, this is embarrassing.
I'm not, but I am doing a review on this guy. I don't know if you guys have seen this one. This is the Pow Kitty RGB 30. And the interesting thing about this guy is that it has a very unique screen.
Yeah, I saw Mad Little Pixels review, so I don't need to watch yours.
Wow, that's rough. Anyways, so it's got a 1-to-1 aspect ratio screen. It's a 720 by 720 resolution, which doesn't make a lot of sense for a lot of things. Yeah. But if you want to play something like Neo Geo Pocket or Game Boy Color, or what else is on here that would be good? Give me 1 second. MSX, that'll actually run nicely on here. It fills up like the entirety of the screen, and it looks fantastic. There's literally no better device to play Game Boy Color.
Do you have a device that will allow me to play European games in European settings, but properly?
Like with the
yeah, like the you know how like the PlayStation Classic came out with all those awesome European games that ran slower?
Yes.
That's how I like to play games. So can I play everything the European way? No, it's not easier. It's just shittier.
You can do whatever you want. But
Now, guys, if we can pivot real quick. We're going to talk a little bit about the PlayStation Portal. Mike finally got his hands on one, but
before we do that, I just want to show how beautiful it looks like on the screen. I'm just trying to find a Game Boy game. Go ahead. Talk about something. I'll get a Game Boy game.
But before Mike, do you have your Portal next to you?
No, God, no. I don't bring anything up here.
You're like, dude, I want to talk about the Portal.
I do want to talk about it. And people
want to see the shit on screen. All right, but before we do that, Carl did a great video about DL Wang's light gun build. Carl, tell me all about this, man. I was very impressed with what you're showing here.
Well, my setup here, I have the gun for IR using the monitor for the computer, but then on the other side, I can use the retro shooter with the 2 guns set up on my 50-inch TV. But DL Wang's build is pretty good. I've been testing a lot of builds. I got a couple of more builds that's coming out that I'll be receiving here in the next week or so. So I'm enjoying this. I'm having a ball with the light guns. But yeah, it's a nice. He has a nice build. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's free. You can get it from the normal punk places, and you'll definitely enjoy it. The setup is pretty simple.
I like the user interface here. I like the way this looks. The artwork they went with, like that stuff always makes it look fun. It's got the classic spinning wheel.
I love Battle Clash, man. I love Battle Clash. Good choice.
Now, Carl, were you using the retro shooter light guns with this build, or were you using what guns?
Actually,
were you
using both. I was using both the retro shooter and the gun for IR.
Oh wow!
So I think in this video I was switching between. I would play here, and then I would go over to the other side and switch. So it's the same image. Just I can just switch guns.
Carl, how long has your arcade been in Dexter's Kill Room?
Since 2018.
And Carl, why is there so much shag furniture and carpeting? What is happening?
You got to have shag carpet.
That's where the magic happens.
Yeah. I mean, when the ass neck touches that shag, there's everything you want happens. You know.
Guys, make sure you check out this video on Detroit Love's channel, and also get yourself a Coca-Cola with the ads. Okay, Nostalgia, did you find a pretty game to show real quick? And they were going.
I did. So just to show just like how much of the screen it just takes up, it's absolutely enormous. I'm trying to get it without the glare, but there you go.
Oh, here, let me make you a little bit bigger here, buddy. Okay, go ahead. Move it over a little.
Gotta get it. There you go. So just you can see, like, if you actually want to play like classic Game Boy Color, Neo Geo Pocket style games, it's just like there's no screen that's gonna provide this size. unless you're going with like a really expensive device. And this thing's like $80, and it can run Dreamcast games really well, or reasonably well.
Does
It can run
does it
PSP
have a
games.
Philips CDI emulator? Because I really want to play Wanda Gamelon on that thing.
I don't think it comes with one stock, but you might be able to get one in there. Let me just check. CDI?
Yeah.
Now, while he's looking for that, I want to take care of this super chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Scott Christopher, thanks for the $5 super chat. Has anyone tried the new Awesome Sauce build that works with the current ALU firmware? If so, have any thoughts?
I have not. The only thing about Awesome Sauce is awesome. The only thing about Awesome Sauce is that it takes forever to download. It takes a long time to download and get set up. So I haven't had the patience or the time yet to do that myself. What about you guys? You guys check out the Awesome Sauce build at all?
Not yet.
I haven't touched with coin ops in a long time. I was busy playing the update game, so I didn't have time for anything.
You love
Logging.
playing the update game with AtGames, man.
Yeah, the logging game is better though.
Yeah.
The login game is fun. But Mike,
Now,
I don't know. I will check. I will let you know. But this thing is good for actually. A couple people have mentioned it. Vertical arcade games because it takes up more of the space.
Yeah.
Really good for that. Also, really good for Nintendo DS because you can effectively get both screens up on
The
there.
dual screen.
Yeah,
Smart.
Instead of having to like fuss around with flipping between them, it's a good option for that too.
Very cool.
So just something to think about. I got a video coming out probably in the next few days. Probably after Christmas. Thinking about it after Christmas.
You did a really good job on your Turtles in Time review too, by the way.
Yes,
Good
I
job,
did.
Steve.
Yeah, I wanted to do something different that I didn't see anyone else do, and I was like, let's just rip it apart, see what's in there.
You know, I don't think I've seen anyone actually open the damn thing up. So that was
Nope.
pretty cool to see. Make sure you guys check out that review on his channel because I've never seen anyone actually open up one of these mini arcades like that.
Yep. So I had to remove the heat shielding and everything. It was a pain in the ass, but I got to the board and I got to the chips, and I was surprised by the screen. That actually surprised me. I wasn't expecting it to be just like a standard 16:9 monitor, and it was just obviously it was cropped in just like any other emulator.
Yeah.
It was just I was surprised by that. I thought for sure it was going to be just like a little like 4x3 display in there, but it wasn't. So
4x3 is expensive and hard to come by. So when I asked the question earlier about your other handheld you were pimping, that's the point where you're supposed to say 4x3 LCD is expensive and hard to come by.
They are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Carl, you want
we
to
have a Rights Retrocade gave us an $8.64 US super sticker.
Thanks so much.
$13.99 Canadian. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much, Rates Retrocade. Merry Christmas to you too, brother.
So I do want to show you guys something about one of the things that happens on this show is sometimes things happen and they become long-running gags on this show. Who was here last week and remembers the importance of this particular camera shot? When Michael plays his mini arcades, he plays them like a diva with the pinky up.
Look at where the stick is for Raphael.
Why is your middle finger up too?
So
what?
You got your middle finger up. You got your like.
Look at where the stick is for Donatello.
Just put it beside.
So
it's a tiny little stick. I'm sure you can work with small.
You're
sticks.
used to working with small sticks, Ristaldo.
Right.
I don't know what it's like.
I'm saying you just move it out of the way.
So Michael B, I want you to know I secured you a new sponsorship based upon this video. And what's really cool is they're going to update the next wave of Numbskull TNT box art, and they're going to be including the Michael B Ninja Turtle pinkies up. They're gonna put this on the box art, Michael B.
That's really funny.
This is really impressive, like with Michelangelo wrap and everything.
Yes,
good stuff.
It's gonna be on the TMNT.
Oh, that's so funny.
Numbskull loved the idea. Darren and all them over there said we're gonna do it, man. We're gonna add this to the artwork on the boxes. So there you go, Michael B. Congratulations on another YouTube sponsorship.
Hey.
All right, we can take that off.
Well done, buddy.
Well done. All right, Michael B, tell us about the PlayStation Portal, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Arcade1Up and AtGames.
So, PlayStation Portal, I went into it. I really wanted one, but they were actually really hard to come by. Nostalgia kept shitting on it and saying, "Oh, you already have a PlayStation Portal. You can just play on your phone, or you can play on an iPad, or you can play on
Tell
all
me
these
what's
devices."
different.
So, what's different is it's actually an all-in-one device, $200 US, $269 Canadian. It does the same things Nostalgia's saying, except it has an integrated DualSense controller into it, so it feels more like a handheld with a reasonably sized screen. I would have bought a backbone, except the screen on my phone, even though it's a big iPhone, was too small. I wanted to play with something a little bit more substantial, so I went with the Portal. I was lucky enough to finally find one. There was a restock at GameStop here recently. And I gotta say, I'm actually really super impressed with it. I was concerned because I have bad internet in my house that the playing experience wouldn't be very good, the connectivity, but connectivity's been great. I'm getting, rock solid 1080p picture. That DualSense like controller and the feeling and everything while you're playing it is just stellar. Super impressed with the PlayStation Portal, but keep in mind, it is what Nostalgia's saying it is. It is used primarily just for remote. It's just for remote play from your PlayStation 5. It's not a separate system or anything like that, but what a cool accessory. And it's perfect for me right now because, like I said, I spend so much time up with my kids, with my wife, and we're all in a room like taking care of everything together. It's so hard to get down to my basement where I have all my game stuff set up. So just be able to sit on the couch, jump into my PlayStation 5 and get like 20 minutes in here and there when I have free time was worth everything to me on this. My PlayStation 5 was collecting dust just for the fact that it's not my Nintendo Switch and I can't bring it upstairs.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Go ahead.
Is that just on the same LAN, or can you be remote?
You can be remote, but it's just through Wi-Fi. So I haven't tried it outside the house yet, but inside the house, it's been perfect. I don't know if you can do it off the same Wi-Fi signal. I think you just got to be connected through Wi-Fi.
Okay.
What do you think about JJ's question here below, Mike? Because you did pick one up.
This is how I feel in a perfectly built
I understand what JJ is saying. Why would you do it as an option for when I can't get down to my big TV?
You know what's interesting, though? You had an option. It was your cell phone.
So here's the thing. I tried it. I tried it by connecting my PlayStation 5 controller to an iPad and just tried playing that way. It's not comfortable. I wanted that handheld experience. The phone is too small. And then with the phone... What?
The iPad screen is too small?
With the iPad, I don't have a controller connected to it. So I had to put the iPad somewhere and then play with a controller. I wanted a handheld experience. Even if I went with a backbone on my phone, I'm getting a smaller screen, much smaller screen, and then I got to go out and pay $140 for the backbone.
I guess. I just when I look at this device, and don't get me wrong, I'm happy that you like it. When I look at this device, it's big. It's very big. It feels like it probably isn't super portable. It feels like you need to get a case for it so you don't damage the screen, and it's the whole thing. I get it if you're just going to be sitting on your couch, that's cool, but would you take it out publicly?
I don't know.
Would you take it out publicly?
Would you want people to see you playing that?
I don't really care. Where would I go? I work from home. I have two small kids and not a lot of free time. How much time am I spending in public?
I don't know, man. If you're just sipping some coffee at Starbucks, would you be whipping out this enormous setup and holding it okay, I'm gonna play some PS5 here. Just there we go.
Michael B, this just sounds like something you take when you're playing a PlayStation game and you need to go take a shit. Is that true?
Well, I'll give you an example. Last night, Lara and Scarlett went out to a concert, so I had to put Tommy to bed by myself. I was able to put my son in his crib and lie down with him, and then just pop open my PlayStation 5, I got an hour in on Star Ocean 5, Star Ocean, The Divine Force last night while waiting for them to come home. So, I wouldn't have been able to do that without this. If I had the iPad, I would have had the iPad on my chest and juggling it with the controller.
Mike, I'm just literally giving you a hard time.
I know.
This
was a comfort thing. I went into it knowing what it was, and I'm very happy with how it performs.
Mike, I just
Mike,
when
why
I
not?
give you a
Mike, why not just use a backbone?
Because the phone is too small, and from everything I read, you can't put a backbone on an iPad.
Damn, that didn't work. Mike, do you have a backbone?
No, I have a backbone, yeah.
I certainly don't.
I was
Anyways.
hoping Mike would say he doesn't have a backbone. Did it? All right,
A
there we go.
backbone is a little controller device you can set up to your phone to play on your phone.
Yeah,
But they still
Mike.
cost $140.
Okay, wait. This guy challenged me. Retro Lab Rat, which I always pronounce wrong. I say Labrat because I keep thinking he's French. Retro Lab Rat says he'd rather stare at the cold hard tiles.
Oh yeah, well, listen, different strokes for different folks. I don't expect everybody to have the same opinion as me. I mean, anybody that goes around expecting everybody to have the exact same opinion must be some kind of asshole. So
Oh my God.
But I will say another thing about this, even though it looks fugly, because it does, this looks horrible. Man, it's comfortable. It's probably one of the most comfortable handhelds I've ever used.
That's because it's kind of like holding a PS5 controller, which is arguably one of the most comfortable controllers you can hold in your hand. So, and to be fair, I'm only giving you a hard time because it's fun, not because I care. You're talking to a guy who has like 75 different retro gaming handhelds that literally all do the same thing. They all do the same thing. So I get it. I get it, dude. If it works for you, bro, keep it up.
But going back to JJ's comment, there's certain things I'm not going to play on this. Like I'm not gonna waste Spider-Man 2 on the portable device. I'm gonna play Spider-Man 2 where I can enjoy it in 4K on my giant TV.
That's
but
fair. It's
if
a
I'm
1080p
playing
screen, right?
Yeah, if I'm playing 80-hour RPGs, I'm okay with doing some leveling and getting some light work done on my handheld when I have time.
All right, guys, let's move on from here and see what's up or what's not up with Arcade1Up. Okay, Michael B., you wanted to talk about Arcade1Up not going to CES, correct?
Yeah, that's weird, right?
Yeah. All right, so here's some exclusive footage of this topic. Go ahead, Michael B. Well, we'll let this play while you're talking. Go ahead, man.
You're so funny. You were like, there was no gaming news this week. Well, Arcade1Up's not going to CES.
Come on,
Dead
Mike.
horse.
Let's beat that dead horse again, Mike. Arcade1Up isn't going to CES, buddy. There you go. No animals were hurt during the filming of that South Park
I would
cartoon.
like to know Steven's opinion on why they're not going, what he
Yes.
thinks of it. I would like to know Carl's opinion, and I would like to know your opinion. And then I would like to talk about it a little bit, because you said I was getting this heat that I didn't know I was getting about me, doing that video and making the announcement. And I'd like to respond to that a little bit too.
Is Paul Minderman here? He kind of runs that. Paul, where are you at, man? You've been kind of quiet tonight. Paul's usually here. Maybe he's with his family. It is the holiday weekend, but he's one of the moderators of the Arcade1Up Reddit thread. There's an entire Reddit thread where people were like, how much do you think Michael B gets paid? Michael B must work for Arcade1Up. And then there were people like going, no, he doesn't work for Arcade1Up. Like there were, and people
Travis
were like,
works for Arcade1Up.
Yeah, they were like, why didn't they is Michael B just teasing us because they didn't announce it officially? And as of today, they still haven't announced it officially.
No,
you know
they're not going to either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you guys go. So Arcade1Up isn't going to CES. Me personally, I don't care. But Detroit Love, how do you feel about that? Do you think that's disappointing?
Yeah, I mean, CES, the old CES is dead anyway. I don't think it matters for them. I think their time would be better in a gaming convention of sorts versus a consumer electronics show. But like E3, but E3's dead too. So I would rather them just release some products, and they don't need to be at those shows to do that.
Okay. What about you, Nostalgia?
I think that this means absolutely nothing, whether they're at the show or not at the show. And I think they've been to two of them in the past.
They were
Three?
technically two CESs when they first started, because they did the giant cabinet.
Yes.
So
The
they
Marvel
did
one, or
they did a Marvel one.
NBA
And,
Jam.
I don't know, NBA Jam, I think.
NBA Jam, yeah. Well, whatever it is, they've been to them a few times. So at a bare minimum, they at least have some sort of internal accounting team, marketing team that's probably looking at ROIs and how much did it cost to go and get the booth and get set up, and then the labor, and then the shipping the equipment back and forth, and the setup and all the other crap. And maybe they're just not seeing a return at that event. And maybe it's just simply a financial decision that they're saying, like, we could go, but it's not actually going to benefit the company. The reward does not outweigh the costs or the risk, so they decide not to go. I mean, that's
and I got a good example. Just when we were in Cleveland, with New Wave Toys, Shiloh, and they were talking about, man, it's such a pain just to set up, and they got these little tiny 1/6 scale cabinets. Imagine the 3/4 scales and the volume necessary to do that. They were like, because even New Wave 2 was like, I don't want to take all this stuff back. You know what I mean? Shipping and all that type of thing. So that's magnified the bigger you get with the cabinet. So sometimes it's not worth it for some of the vendors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even talking about the cost to be there, to rent the space and all of that.
They will be.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I'll tell. It's a tent behind TJ Maxx.
Have people really been saying that Arcade1Up is going out of business because they're opting out of a show like this?
Yeah.
That's like a real thing that people think in their head. They're like, they must. Oh, there's zero other reasons why a company.
There seems to be some people in this community of very questionable intelligence. And also, there seems to be a lot of people in this community that will be out drinking, special Kool-Aid with Jerry Jones or Jim Jones. Like, these people are crazy. They're just like, I heard this. It must be true. Give me the Kool-Aid. The Zions are coming to save us.
It doesn't, I don't know, man. It doesn't make sense. With a company like Arcade1Up at this stage, they are so big. They have so many licenses. They have so many partnerships that if they were in financial trouble, I don't think bankruptcy is the road they would go down. I think they'd position themselves to be as tight as they can, which is kind of what it looks like they're doing, and then look to be acquired, because an acquisition is what even if they go 50 cents on the dollar, that's a whole hell of a lot better than what they'd get in a bankruptcy. So it doesn't make sense to me that people are saying, oh, they're going out of business. No, they're probably not. And they're probably just being and doing some wise marketing spend, and they don't want to be burning money where they don't need to. So
I agree. Arcade1Up is going out of business. Thanks for confirming, Nostalgia.
So I said in my video my thoughts on it. I just don't think they were ready. It sounds like the lineup's not confirmed for what they're doing next year. Maybe they had some reconsiderations on what their plans were. And also, just marketing wise, they weren't happy with what their marketing plan was. So they wanted to move it around. Everybody's focused on the fact of them not physically being at CES. Listen, guys, this is not the first time they weren't physically at CES. Not last year, but the year before. They didn't go to CES. They just sent a press junket out and a sizzler reel for their new cab. So them not physically being there isn't the big story here. It's them not announcing products at a time when they normally announce products. That's the thing people should focus on. Not so much about whether or not they go to this convention, because that really doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, think about it. Even if they didn't make a physical appearance at these shows in the past, they at least announced a few cabs every January, and they pretty much said, we're not doing that.
But between that, so much. Just in the last, if you look at them over the last even 16 months, their entire business model's changed.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, in my opinion, so much has happened over the last 12 months. I understand people feeling doom and gloom. I totally get it. I'm right there with you guys. But also, is it really the end of the world? Think about it. If Arcade1Up goes out of business, I said this in a video I did earlier this week, I'm still going to play Pac-Man. I'm just going to access it on a different device in the future. Nothing changes about the retro arcade games you're playing except how you access them, whether you access them through a handheld, a console, a Steam Deck, a PC, an arcade machine, a multi-cam,
or the Retroid Pocket 4.
Yeah,
exactly.
The only thing that changes for us who are big fans of retro games is how do we access and how do we play them? Hell, Arcade1Up and AtGames can go out of business, and guess what? We'll
find other ways. Yeah,
we'd still be playing these games. So that's why I'm not too worried about it. You know what I mean? Like, still going to be able to play Pac-Man somehow, some way. So there you go. But is that it for Arcade1Up? They had no other news, right? Just the CES.
Yeah, that's just it. The other thing too is just to confirm, Arcade1Up reached out to me through Travis and gave me that message. I decided to do the video based on that. I don't work there. I wish I did, because then I could have bought my Stranger Things pinball that I missed out on. I wish I had a second income. You idiots.
Mike, you're so funny. You're so funny. All right, cool.
Mike, I don't watch your channel. What was the announcement? What did you
Arcade1Up.
But just not going to CES? Is that what it was?
They're not announcing anything at CES.
Okay, well, you know what'd be interesting if they are switching to the like Nintendo model of games and like releases where they're like new machine ready to go and you can buy it right now, and then you just like go and buy it immediately, and they don't give you 6 months worth of time before they actually before they release it. They're just gonna work on that like FOMO type of business model where.
Yeah. They also said they were looking at doing something a little bit different, like coming up with their own concept of how they were going to announce cabs. They talked about it last year that like they really wanted to try to get that 1UP show up and running. Mm-hmm. Like that's how they wanted to do their announcements going forward. And maybe that's how they'll do it. You got to understand, like there's a bunch of money they shelled out in the last couple of years for like press junkets and IGN covering them and stuff like that. Like that isn't cheap, and IGN isn't. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think that they're the same company anymore, and I don't think that they can put on the same production. So they've got to rethink how they're going to do things going forward.
I'm just surprised.
I like when they would just appear at Costco's and there was no announcement, and then, you know, and then people
I love you, Goofy Foot.
Still didn't have them.
I'm choking here. Keep going.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. So yeah, Travis told me. The wrong comment came up. It was Travis. Travis told me. That's Arcade1Up. Travis works there.
Yeah, that's weird. All right, so we're gonna pivot over to talk about AtGames here in a minute. I just wanted to say, I am disappointed though that even though if they're not doing a physical CES, there's not even anything virtual. And it would have been nice, like you don't have like one machine you could tell people about. Like you don't have one product you can say, hey, by the way, guys, like
something, right?
Like we got like Robotron or something. Like you got nothing.
Yeah, but
you know
what if the announcement, and you know, obviously I don't know, so I can't say, but what if the announcement was going to be the new Miss Pac-Man Deluxe, the new Pac-Man Deluxe, the new Mortal Kombat Deluxe, with all the same games, just legacy versions. Like, honestly, if you were Arcade1Up, would you be excited about making that announcement in January when people have been hounding you for a year and saying too many rehashes? So maybe them going back to the drawing board and taking a little bit of time, maybe that's not the worst thing.
Or maybe it is. Maybe they're going out of business.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think has anyone even thought of that? Maybe they're actually going out of business. It doesn't make any sense.
We should make a video on it.
Well, there've been. Well, think about it, guys. I mean, you have to understand where general people are assuming that the writing's on the wall, because the writing could be on the wall. There's been a lot of weird, wacky stuff that company's gone through in the last 18 months. So do I personally, just my opinion, have faith that company is going to make it through the end of 2024? I do not personally. But then again, I'm a nobody. They very well could. They very well could be going out. Wasn't I just talking about that?
Yeah. So anyways, let's go in the Wayback Machine. Let's go in the Wayback Machine for Papa Bread here. Papa Bread, do you remember when iArcade was having some trouble? Flying to the red flags. Pot, kettle.
That company has gone through some weird, wacky shit in the last 18 months. If they don't make it through the end of next year, I personally am not going to be surprised.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
100%. This is not the company we saw in the past couple of years. Do I think they have the money and clout that they had in previous years? No, not at all. This is they're right back to startup, I would say, at this point. And I mean, you know, I don't think they're a powerhouse by any means.
Yeah. All right, let's pivot over. Let's talk a little bit about the big news of the day. The AtGames 4K arcade machine. Did they give us the ultimate update today? I love these transitions. I don't even know if that played correctly. It sounded all messed up in my ears.
Me too.
It sounded really messed up in my ears. I wonder if Restream just suddenly died.
It's a good thing we paid good money for those.
All right, so just a couple of hours ago, AtGames put this video plus some written announcement on their Facebook page. Make sure you guys go to AtGames Gaming on Facebook, and they announced the Legends 4K arcade machine. Well, actually, this product was announced earlier this year. Just we actually finally got some pictures and a couple of details about it, and there have been plenty of content creators out there who've been making videos about it. Let me know in the live chat, guys. Start putting your feedback in. This thing is going to be $1,300. It does come with some cool shit, but it's going to be $1,300. Start putting your feedback in the live chat. What do you guys think?
Why do you think it's going to be $1,300?
Yeah, that's awfully pricey.
Did they? Wasn't that the
Suddenly,
price?
my Ki Pro it looks
So
awesome.
that price is coming from the presentation AtGames put out, which is not a final price.
Okay, so interesting.
Yep.
Well,
so
people have been
everybody
reporting on it.
Everybody
People
jumping
have
on
been-
the third. Yes, and I told everybody that the AtGames Legends pinball was going to be $1,500 US when it came out. But what happened?
It was reduced.
Mm-hmm. Who knows?
Increased it
I
over.
don't know. The pricing is not confirmed. So let's just stick.
There
with
you
that.
go.
Pricing is not confirmed, guys.
All right, so it's not confirmed at 1,300.
No.
Yeah, 1,300 is outrageous.
So everybody's like, what's the price? You'll find
I don't
out when the pre-orders go out.
See, I'm not on their media list anymore, so I don't receive that stuff. So I was reporting on what other people were saying. They were all
Yeah, there
saying
you
this
go.
thing was $1,300. Is that not what they were told?
No, it's in the presentation, but that's not a final price. So I mean, it's like saying I heard that it's $1,300. That's a fair statement. But
This thing needs to be $999 or less.
But if it was in their press release,
there is no business for this thing to be $1,300.
I'm curious why you guys say that.
yeah, because
Yeah,
either they wrote it in the presentation or they didn't. I don't get.
No,
what you're saying.
I'm wondering why you guys don't why you guys are saying that the price point would be too high at 1,300 given what they're giving you in the out of the box. Not that I'm saying I agree with that price. I'm curious to know why you think it is not worth 1,300.
Well, tell me the value, Ristalgia.
Yes. Where's
Tell
the
me.
value? Where's the value over this versus a Arcade1Up Ki Pro?
Okay, so
Where's the
okay,
value?
if,
it's a different machine.
Let's not talk about
What
the
do you mean
KI
it's different?
Pro.
What are you
The
talking
KI
about?
the
Pro is
KI
a
Pro was
disaster.
$1,000, wasn't it?
It's a
Yeah, it was
disaster.
$1,000.
And it was
Well,
a hunk of junk. But
Now that's not fair because neither one of you guys have it, so you don't.
That's
I
okay,
have it.
Carl.
I have it. I like my KI
Right,
Pro.
Carl,
you didn't say it was a
I'll
piece
It's
of
give you
not
that,
$1,000 worth
I was
$1,000,
joking.
but I like it.
The
But hold
battle
on.
begins.
Guys,
the battle
guys.
begins.
if you guys want me to talk about why I think it could be worth that price, is that what you want? And
Let's just
you
talk
guys
about
want
$1,000.
you guys want to pull the Uno reverse card on me because I said why isn't it worth? Fine, I'll go down this road if you guys want to go down this road.
Well, I'm saying we have an equivalent. The only thing we have the equivalent to it is the Ki Pro in size, function, whatever. So I'm going to compare it to that. So let's start there. Let's just say
Okay.
$1,000.
Okay,
Is
let's
this worth
talk
$1,000?
that. Okay, Carl, let's go down the road. You get a 27-inch screen. Let's start with just the screen size. It's a big screen.
Okay.
What do you get on your Ki Pro? A 19-inch?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to 27-inch widescreen. You're not going to be able to use the full screen, obviously. That's
Right.
a separate conversation, but it is a 27-inch.
But it needs to be
display.
discussed. But go ahead.
It should be discussed. The next thing is you get the bit LED or LCD marquee, which is badass.
That switches between two games.
Well, no, it's going to be the same as yours, so you probably can have any artwork that you want on it.
Mine's in the box, so that's
Okay. Well, anyways, you have the ability to change your marquee dynamically based on the game that you're playing. So that in itself is a lot of value. The chipset in it is so much more powerful than the one that Arcade1Up released. You get the the 3588. That chipset is a powerhouse. It is a monster. It's the same chipset that they're using in the Orange Pi 5, I think. And it is an animal. That thing can run a ton of different games. If it can run KI Pro Killer Instinct, it's going to be able to run a ton of other arcade games in similar fashion. And then what else do they have included?
Well, before we go, because we're talking about playing games on it, let's talk about Sean Retro Arcade's super chat here, $5. Thank you. Will we be able to play the 4K arcade games on 4K pinball? Will we be able to play the 4K arcade games on this?
Are there
the 4K arcade games on the 4K pinball?
I think you meant on this KI.
I don't think there's any 4K
arcade games
out there. There's no 4K.
No. They're gonna be doing like Killer Instinct is gonna be coming out optimized for 4K. So that's what he's talking about.
Oh, is that what they're doing? They're gonna like upscale.
So the games are gonna be upscaled to 4K.
Interesting.
Okay, and another question here from Labir, $10 super chat. Will they have different cap skins like they have with the 4K?
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
You got to look at the licenses or the IP that they've already announced that they've got in partnership. The Killer Instinct was probably the biggest title out of anything that they've announced so far. So,
am I the only one that would have got excited for a Battletoads skin on here? Because I like Battletoads.
I think that would have been pretty badass. Yeah.
And I think a green Battletoads cabinet would have looked pretty cool. I hope AtGames does that option in the future, man.
Do you want them to do an authentic Battletoads recreation, or do you want like something more modern?
I don't know. Like, I just want the green and yellow Battletoads, man. Just make it look cool.
And nostalgia. And in all fairness, we can't compare this to a KI Pro because KI Pro is fixed to have just those games that came with it. This is a ALU that's designed to let you play other games, coin ops, hook up your own computer to it. So yeah, I get that. It's not apples to apples.
Well, and with this one, you've got the VIBS control on both of the LCDs, so you can adjust it. You can have something coming off of your PC. I think they changed the body a little bit, so it's a little bit more boxy. I actually think that was my biggest criticism of anything that was related to the ALU originally. Just didn't really like the swan neck. And now that they've kind of corrected that, I think it looks better. It's also a multicade. So I think just given its form factor, I think it's appropriate. The thing that I really am not a huge fan of right now, honestly, is the artwork. And it's not even the side panels. I actually don't mind the side panels because they've gone with the Killer Instinct 1, Killer Instinct 2.
Front panel.
Kind of side by side.
Panel.
It's the front panel that I don't like. And honestly, if my opinion, make it black.
Yeah.
Put a bigger coin door in there and just make the Rare logo right in the bottom and just leave it black. And I think that would actually look better. I'm also not 100% convinced on the bezel. I think the bezel's a little bit off, and maybe they should go with like a gradient from like, if they want that purple, they should go from purple to black, and then everything below that black. But
I think whoever helped them design the bezel, the control panel, as well as the shape of the cabinet is a complete idiot. Doesn't know what they're doing.
Oh yeah,
who would have done that? Who would have done that? Who would have done that? Who helped them design it?
So I didn't do the art, but I will tell you what they were going for is they didn't want to recreate what Arcade1Up had already done with Killer Instinct. So the idea was to meld half and half of Killer Instinct 2 with Killer Instinct 1 for the side art. So that's what they did. However, I don't know who does their artwork. I don't know if it's a professional firm, it's in-house. So I think adding the Killer Instinct characters on the side, good call. They're going to be a little bit smaller because of the shape of the cabinet, and they can't, stretch and modify those images. So there's that. Whether you like the art on it, like the orange sky and the purple lightning and stuff like that, I mean, I think maybe that could be done a little bit differently. And I like Nostalgia's comment too. I think one of the reasons that people are so kind of weirded out by this is the front does look a little strange. If that was a black front, I think it would look better. I helped develop the form factor. I provided recommendations on that. I didn't develop the lightning on the bezel, but I did just suggest maybe the line around because it was really plain before, and then to put the Killer Instinct logo and the Legends Ultimate ALP logo or 4KP. The one thing I did do though is I suggested using the real Killer Instinct logo, the original arcade one, but the actual licensor came back and suggested using the more modern one. So that's why you don't have the original Killer Instinct logos on there.
Yeah,
Control.
it's missing that blue and red KI logo. It's the purple and yellow on this.
Yeah, so it's a lot like what happened with Adam's Family. As a brand changes, they don't necessarily want their old product, their new product, represented by their old product. They want to do the most updated logo. This isn't meant to be a recreation so much as a I don't know what you call it. I don't know, a multicade that has a theme.
Inspired, a cabinet inspired by the
inspired by Killer Instinct.
Yeah, no, and I get that, and because I was until you said that, Michael, I was like, "Where's the Michael?" I know it says I love to have the cabinets that look just like the original, and I can't stand it. But you're talking about a 27-inch screen, so that's going to work. That's going to take that out of the equation. Period. So that's not even a possibility to have it look. Otherwise, you get this ginormous cabinet in order to try and have that shape. With that size screen. So there's some concessions that has to be made simply by having that bigger screen on there.
Yeah, right. The coin door, a lot of people are saying looks a little bit small too. So
yes, it looks very tiny.
I think that could have been a little bit bigger. That's the same coin door they're using on the ALP, I would imagine. So that's an economy of scope, I think it's called, or economy of scale. Reuse the same resources instead of building something new.
Something bigger.
But it does look a little bit small. I still think this. I'm not going to say anything because I helped with it in some capacity. I gave some advice, so I think it's hard for me to really give an opinion on what I think of it. I'd like to hear feedback specifically on the form factor.
Yeah,
so, that's what I want to know because I really like this new form factor, of course, because I recommended it.
Let me jump in here on the form factor if I can. So the form factor, I already said earlier that I think it's fine for a multicade. Mm-hmm. I would have loved to have seen them go with like just a straight up Midway style or a Capcom style, like shape.
But they're not going to do that. You know why?
Well, and I do, but I also think that like a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the control deck's not right. They need to angle it." This is not a recreation of a Killer Instinct cabinet. So that's one. Two, AtGames needs to be able to make their products, an existing product line, work with this product. So if you've got one of the 4-player control decks, it needs to be modular enough. This design needs to be modular enough that you're not left in the dust because everyone's going to throw their arms up and I bought the 4-player control deck and I can't even use it on the new machine. No, what they're trying to do, or what it appears that they're trying to do, is that control deck is the same control deck that I have right here. It's the same control deck that you have at home. It's the same form factor that would fit the 4-player control deck. So I think they're going to be limited in the design capacities because that control deck has the pinball buttons attached to it. It needs to be able to sit in a certain height. It has to be able to be accessible for all of the different features that it has. I think what they did here is okay. I think it's fine. I'm not looking at this or wanting to buy this machine expecting that it's going to recreate what an original Killer Instinct machine was supposed to be, because it's not. That's not what its intended purpose is.
And indeed is not. And this is more on the line of the third-party multi-cade builders out there that's been around for years. That's what this is competing against.
Exactly.
Against the Arcade1Up. Michael?
No. Go ahead, Carl. You're making good points. I just wanted to
jump in and say that. Yeah, stop that.
Detroit love.
Yeah. So this is the equivalent. And when we talk about the price, even at $1,300, that's going to be the equivalent price of those multi-Ks that you would buy from those other vendors and on the lines of pricing. So for scale and pricing, they're in line with the competition when it comes to multi-Ks.
So a couple of thoughts I had on this is, as you could tell, it's just a render, and renders are subject to change, right? Mm-hmm. So this is just a render. It's not a photo of the real thing. But a couple of interesting things about the render is hopefully they'll make some changes. So for instance, you could tell what they did with this render is, hey guys, we're going to put a coin door on it. Okay, Mr. Photoshop guy, just add the coin door that we use on our pinball machines. And you never know. this could be the same mold. They could actually be intending saying, hey, we're already manufacturing a bunch of these coin doors for the pinball machines. Let's use the same mold and put them on the arcade machines. But in my opinion, it needs a larger coin door. You need to put a big fat ass coin door on this thing, not that tiny itty bitty pinball coin door on this thing. It just feels like there's so much wasted space on the kick plate. So I do hope that that changes, and AtGames spends a little bit more money and says we're not just going to reuse the same part on multiple devices. Hopefully they actually make something custom to fit this machine size wise. It just feels so small, right? It feels so small. And then I like the fact that it comes with the bit LCD, and the fact that it'll change with the games, like the 200 games that are included, and hopefully with BYOG. Now the 27-inch 4K, the way I've always looked at this ever since earlier last year, AtGames announced 4K arcade was coming. In my opinion, the only way that benefits a multicade user is if I connect my PC to this thing and I want to play some modern games on it and have a really nice screen and really nice 4K resolution to play these modern games on, right?
Why do you say that?
Because when it comes to like Bad Dudes and like these other games, like, does it really matter? Like Bad Dudes in 4K, like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like for me, the high def thing, the 4K thing only mattered for OTG mode, for bringing my own devices to this thing. But you let me know. Mike just dropped a bombshell on me that they're actually going to be doing enhanced versions of the games. Is that what you're saying, Mike?
Well, they're gonna upscale the resolution.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not gonna do what Arcade1Up did with NFL Blitz, where they go in and change the graphics. They're just gonna be, ported. It's just
going to be increasing. Yeah, they're going to be upscaling it, and that's what I was going to say. I was thinking, like, P-Dubs, have you ever played an N64 games upscaled in 4K? It's incredible. It looks so nice. Or a PSP game or a PS1 game. They look so good when they're upscaled on a 4K display.
So you're telling me 4K Bad Dudes is just going to knock my socks off.
It is going to make you shit your pants.
There's going to be a set of diminishing returns at a certain point, and when you're starting to get into some of the really old games, then there's like a huge diminishing return point. But I think that, like, given the hardware that's in here, that's the key. It's a very powerful chip that's in here that can run lots of games. So I think that you're going to be able to take advantage of it, and you're going to be able to take advantage of a 4K screen, no problem on this thing.
Yes, they did move the ports for the OTG connecting your own devices. They did move those to the back of the machine, just like the pinball machine. So that's happening.
That's good.
Yeah, guys. Like, and just to clarify, I didn't build this. This is all AtGames and stuff like that. I just made some recommendations on how the form factor should change and how some of the art should look on the bezel and control panel mostly.
Wow. Okay. What else are we going to say about this thing? Car, what are you thinking, man?
I'm a fan of multicades. The bigger screen is better for modern games, not so much for the vertical games that I prefer to play. But there's a market for it, and we need more cabinets being produced to go into people's homes. I think with you guys are talking about Arcade1Up going away. It's a possibility. They've gone through most of the licenses that they have. We may be going back to the multicade option. Yeah. But again, the more players in this market means it's this home arcade business that goes on. So I'm all for it.
So again, a couple comments that I want to respond to. I think people have some wax in their ears. So one, I did not design the art for this. I made recommendations to make minor changes to the marquee, which was the square around the outside with the words. The control panel, I suggested using the original KI control panel and modifying it to fit the Killer Instinct. And I helped them with the form factor.
Okay. Now, when it comes to upscaling, Michael B says that the live chat needs to upscale their hearing, but in other news, Kevin Clausen gave us a $2 super chat saying upscaling is good, but Nostalgia is at $1,000 good. And guys, I was trying to do one of those cool transitions, but I messed it up. Damn it! I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
so-
Kevin. I know Kevin lives for those. I
That's
screwed
okay.
it up.
You want me to answer that or no?
Yeah,
The
go ahead.
rhetorical. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not paying $1,000 just for 4K upscaling. So
Yeah.
whatever the regular machine costs,
Damn.
what is that? The normal price on the thing is what, $600 ish, depending on where you buy it. Sometimes 650. I don't really know
Yeah.
anymore. You're getting a larger screen. So that's 27 inches versus the stock 24 inches. You're getting
Okay.
the LCD marquee, which is added into that. You're getting a substantially more powerful chipset, which means the 4K aside, you're going to be able to run better and more powerful games on this thing. There's a lot of other things that are factoring into that price point that actually bumps it up there. And if it was simply just them saying, hey, you can run all your old games at 4K, but you can't run anything more or anything less, and you don't have any of the other bells and whistles. No, spending $1,000 just to play 4K titles is not worth it. But they're giving you a whole bunch of other stuff. So, I mean, I don't know if it's worth it. That's up to you. You need to decide if it's worth it. That's a subjective answer and a subjective question. So,
Oh yeah, one
but-
second.
yeah, from here, let me mute Mike just so that way. There we go. Honestly, my perspective is that based on what I'm seeing, if there's a $1,300 price point, I think that it could very easily be justified giving the additional features and add-ons that they're putting onto it.
Now, what's interesting, of course, on this is it's going to have the same chipset as the pinball machine, the new 4K pinball machine.
That's
So it's-
correct.
So it sounds like now here's what's interesting. It sounds like the 4K pinball games are going to be able to run on this. So and yeah, you'll play them in that. What's that view called? The landscape view.
Yeah.
Like this thing doesn't rotate. The screen doesn't rotate. So
I gotta put this up here for a second. Good defense, nostalgia, but so far you've only convinced me to buy the air fryer. Well done. Well played, sir.
Yeah, there you go. I forgot where I was going with that. So the fact that you could play maybe you'll have a better experience than playing the pinball games on the Legends Ultimates, because the pinball games aren't the greatest experience on the Legends Ultimates. I think on some of the machines they got it down to 30 frames per second, right?
Mhm.
And so like these versions will probably be 60 frames per second. They'll probably run better. So that's kind of nice for people who can't afford both machines but would prefer the arcade over the pinball machine. Like that's kind of nice in my opinion. I'm trying to talk myself into it.
Thanks, Charlie. Chuck.
It looked like it'd be a good machine for some light guns. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
A bigger screen.
I have no clue, Biggie D, but I know you have a big inside source out there, buddy. So you gotta, once that guy tells you what's happening, you gotta send me a DM on Facebook, Biggie, so I know what's going on, because I know you got that big source.
It's an interesting comment because AtGames has had many of the same licenses that Arcade1Up has had over the years. Many of the same licenses. So this is not necessarily a surprise. I don't think anyone should be surprised that they're somehow sharing licenses.
Yeah. Meatball Saucy, great guy in our community, expert in virtual pinball and setting up DIY pinball stuff. Here's his feedback. Move the OTG inputs, which they did. Added 2 extra buttons to the control panel, which they did. It's not like you need to buy a Gamer Pro to swap into this thing. You'll get your 8 buttons. Better form factor, including the marquee, modernized hardware. These are good things. So in Meatball's opinion, games are the most important value prop. Yeah, that is fantastic feedback from Meatball Saucy. If you're going to announce this machine with more powerful hardware and games, and yeah, we know they're coming out with Rare, but I hope there's more coming. And that kind of piggybacks off what Biggie D said. Like if AtGames wants me to drop, let's just say it's $1,200, $1,300 on this machine, what native games are you going to include for me to play, whether it's ArcadeNet, included on the machine, available to buy and download and run natively, what's coming out? As always, guys, never hurts to wait until all the information comes out. Never hurts to wait.
Yep.
Jester Mario has a $2 super chat. Says, "Is this going to come in different skins?" And I think that's a good thing, because the original ALU, it was lackluster, right? As far as design. And I think with this pinball, people are saying, "Oh, Attack from Mars comes out now. That's something that I'm interested in." So I think it's a way to reiterate or introduce these same cabinets that may appeal to different people by skinning them. Obviously, there's third-party people out there that could make these, but people don't like to put these things on it. So, themselves, like I had to do with my iArcade, I hated that whole process. So if you're able to just wait and buy one that comes with the skin you want, that would be a great idea. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like that idea. I mean, if they did that with the pinball, and this is a multicade, so just like the pinball, you only need to buy one, you only need to own one. But if they got, I mean, think about it. Arcade1Up would never have done a Battletoad skin. But if AtGames has the balls to say, hey, we think maybe 500 people will buy a Battletoad skin, guys, I'd be one of them. I'd be all over it because no one else is going to do it.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
So the people saying, "Oh, I'd love to get a Burger Time skin,"
No.
you realize if they do Burger Time, they're not going to do the right form factor, right?
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is a
it's gonna-
multi-cade. This is not. This
Yeah.
is not an arcade recreation. It's
Yeah.
never going to be.
And that's what I was saying earlier. This is not intended to recreate what the original machine looked like. The artwork is different
Yeah.
than the original machine. On the side panels, on the front, everything is different. This is their way of taking that IP and giving us something different than what they've done with their original machines that nobody really liked the artwork on. This is a better option for those who don't want the standard artwork.
With most multicades, the artwork is horrendous, in my opinion. They try to put all these different things to show that it's a multicade. And in most houses or most game rooms, it doesn't look, it's not appealing. Yes, it gets the marketing piece across that, hey, this is not just a one game machine that it plays all these bunch of games, so I have all these pictures from it, but it looks hideous in my opinion. So if you can find something that you like, in this case Killer Instinct, if that's something you like, that's going to look a whole lot better, despite the fact that it can play many other games as opposed to these multi-K photos that they normally put on there.
Well, let me ask this to the live chat. Guys, do you want AtGames to do another artwork similar to what the original machines look like, where it's a black cabinet with silver T-molding, and on the side panels you have the worst amalgam or collection of random characters from the multicade games, and a front kickplate board that just has some game logos on it? Like, would that be okay? In my opinion, it's probably because I'm big into multicades, and I understand multicades will never look like the original, and multicade fans probably going to be digging the artwork here. I think arcade enthusiasts who want the recreation, they're going to hate it, right? They're going to hate it. Like, they could put some cool looking Battletoads thing on here. I'd be totally fine with it, But I definitely don't want them to go back to the, here's the kick plate with, 20 freaking game logos on it. That's so goddamn ugly. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather they at least try and put a splash of something on here, in my opinion. So, yeah.
It's just sour grapes, I think. There's going to be, regardless of what they do, like we saw this with their pinball machines. And in my opinion, every pinball machine that they've released, objectively speaking, looks good. They all look good. Maybe it's not the artwork style you wanted, or the specific characters you wanted, or the specific table you want. They all look good in their own right. And they're really coming a long way in terms of their art design and their cabinet artwork. So this is not Killer Instinct in the way that you would want it to be if you are expecting the original machine. But this is a good. Like I said, there's some things I would change. I don't like the front really at all, like the front panel. I don't really like the bezel. I think there's so much going on that it's a bit distracting. But aside from the small pieces, when you look at the side, it looks good. When you look at the marquee, having the ability to just digitally change that, it's going to look good. I don't know what the control deck looks like, though.
This is an awesome point, by the way. This is an awesome point, because once you smash a bunch of machines together, does the side really matter?
So going back to Garage Gamer's comment, I love that, because he's like, yeah, I don't want it. I don't want it like this. Garage Gamer, who's never going to buy this product.
Yeah. Well, by the way, guys, just to make sure we get a jump on trademarking the nickname for this machine, as you guys know, in this home arcade space, we have had a lot of products come out. Don't share any comments on the screen. I want to make sure people can see this. We've had a lot of products come out where this community has come up with cool nicknames for them, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, let's make sure we get this trending. I know from hitherto on forward, I am going to be calling this the Michael B. Cade, and it's coming very, very soon, ladies and gentlemen. The Michael B. Cade.
Yeah, but
if
see,
you got, if
people
you
are
have
gonna-
any
people
problems
are-
with, and I'm so happy about this because if anyone says is mad, I'm going to say you got to talk to Michael B. He designed this thing. This is the Michael B. Cade, and it's coming very, very
See,
soon.
yeah,
ladies
but
and gentlemen.
you got to understand. Apparently, the people in this community, they're, I don't know, man. Like some people, like you can tell them, "Hey, I made recommendations," and then they're like, "Oh, Michael B designed it." Like I'm already seeing it in the chat. Like it's crazy.
Well, Mike, if you don't
either
want
I'm
to
doing
get
a very poor job of explaining what I did, or I'm really concerned about people's cognitive ability.
Hey,
Mike, earlier in the show, you said I designed this, I designed that. They did a bad job communicating. What you should have said was,
Yes, that's
I provided feedback when I saw
you
the
go.
initial design.
Yeah.
The final designs were not anything that I had any control over.
It was all signed off on by Michael B. And by
Michael
the way,
B.
guys,
literally,
every time
he is the
you're
UI UX designer.
every time you're playing one of your games, about every 18 minutes or so, an ad is going to pop up on your arcade machine. Ain't that right, Michael B?
Yeah,
that's right.
Biggie D's asking about spectating lobbies, dude. We have no freaking clue, just like you, man. What AtGames did was they sent out an announcement, not today. What was it? A couple of weeks ago. They said, "Hey guys, just so you know, we have a whole new ArcadeNet 2.0 coming out, and it's going to have superior servers and better performance and blah blah blah." I really hope that whatever online fighting service they're coming up with has these features, but we have no clue. Nobody can answer this question as of today. We'll see what AtGames comes up with once they reveal the online portion of their ArcadeNet 2.0, whenever that comes out.
So the last thing I do want to say is I hear your guys' feedback. Some of it's a little hurtful because obviously I'm
teasing.
No, but I was excited to see the community's response. I thought everybody would be really jazzed up about the form factor and stuff like that. I think that's a huge step. And the other thing you guys got to remember, I mean, there's things that I never considered either because I'm just like you. I'm like, man, that AtGames cab, it'd be nice if it was a little bit more like this, a little bit more like that. And it's fine to play Monday morning quarterback, but like when I was making these recommendations and then it would go back to the like engineers, like there's things they have to consider about shipping and shit like that, where they're just like, no, we can't change this. We can't change that. It's going to be $400 to ship if we do that. So not trying to sway your opinion or anything like that. It's just, it's not as simple as it seems. Like even just modifying the way the top was done was like a nightmare, a logistical nightmare going back and forth, talking about things like line of sight and stuff like that. Oh,
I think the top half of the machine looks I think it looks fine. I think it looks better than it did before, and I think this is an upgrade, and I think I would be happy with that if that's what I got.
See, I don't know. I do a very bad job communicating because I don't know where this comes back. Champagne Room says Mike walking back his design. Where's this coming from? Did I say that?
You did. It was your words, unfortunately.
Exactly.
You literally said it was your... Yeah, you said, I designed this. I did not
say that.
You did.
You did.
I'll have to go back.
Mike,
you literally said
if
it.
you go back and watch the replay, you're going to be quoted as saying, I completely designed this arcade machine from top to bottom.
You even did the final sign-off.
Because I am gonna misquote you on that. I'm telling everybody that this.
Everybody's gonna misquote me.
All right, guys. I put a poll in the live chat. Kevin Clausen wants to know if you guys can take votes. Are you going to spend $12.99 on the ALU 4K Killer Instinct, or would you rather spend $12.99 ish? Keep in mind it might be a difference of $100 or so on the Unico Nova Blast. Would you rather spend $12.99 on something else, or if you just believe that we should long live the Michael B. Cade, put that in the chat. I couldn't think of a fourth option. So what's funny is the people saying long live Michael B. Cade, we're going to count you towards the ALU 4K yeses. So just a heads up there. Just a heads up there. So yeah, we put that poll in per viewer request. I thought I saw another question from Big ED. That was actually a good question. Hang on. Let's see here.
He actually has good questions from time to time?
From time to time. Not all the time. From time to time.
Interesting.
He has his Moat gonna run tournaments for AtGames also. If they provide a good online experience, and if Moat owns the product and he's willing to do that, I'd be
That's
all
on
for
him.
that.
You should
That's
ask
on-
Moat that though.
Yeah, that's a question for Moat.
Yeah,
But-
but how do we know?
yeah, how would we know? That's
I'm not
a good idea.
Moat's business manager.
I would love for him to. The Moat's been doing a good job with stuff.
I
let's see what
am
else we
Turd
had here.
Ferguson.
Yes. Oh, I could have put the Polycade because the Polycade at that time was $12.49, which isn't that funny? Like the Polycade was $12.49. This is $12.99, but we don't know the final pricing yet. And then the Unico Nova Blast was about $11.99 to $12.99, depending. They're all like the same price. Did
Yeah.
like one of these guys set the market for the others, and they're like, let's just charge the same damn price?
No,
You know what I mean?
It's because that's what these things are more expensive than what they were
Yes.
producing before. Like,
Yes, we love Moat. Yeah, I don't host tournaments, so yeah, Moat would definitely be better at tournaments than me, Ant Jr. He
Then
definitely
you should
would
go
be.
watch him.
Yeah. Does the new machine have a video out for stream capture? Knowing AtGames, they're gonna do
No,
those.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's
I
not going
doubt
to
it.
either.
They're not gonna have HDMI
I
out.
I did ask
Yeah.
that, but there
Oh,
will
we could have
be.
called it the cheesy
I,
cade.
I,
Damn it.
I don't know if I'm giving something away. There will be some way for you to do streaming from the cabinet, but no HDMI out.
is it the same that they have right now, where it's like
Maybe.
wirelessly streaming or whatever?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Chris thinks that the Arcade1Up Pro, which was $9.99, ruined the pricing game.
Maybe that
Maybe.
set the precedent. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
You know what's interesting though?
How do we know? Go ask him. How would we know what he plans on doing? But I hope he does though, because he does a good job. Yeah, so this was a funny comment. Thanks for
Dr.
the
Freeman with a
giveaways.
really good comment here. Will I have to re-log in every time I turn it on? Probably.
You probably.
All signs point to yes.
People get so mad about it. Oh, Garage Gamer. What is with the purple snow? Is that from the light glistening off of the Michael B. Cade? There you go. Scott B says, in all fairness to AtGames, the pre-orders will be $1,000. Yeah, they'll probably do a sale like they do with the pinball machines. There'll probably be something, right? So we'll have to see where all the final pricing comes in. My guess is, February, National Owners Day, because in their little Facebook post they said pre-orders are going to go live in the spring or February, whatever. So I'm guessing February is when pre-orders are going live. Do you guys have any info on that?
January 1st.
Seriously?
January 1st.
No way. Really?
January 1st.
That is
It's gonna be $13,000.
Oh my god.
You can only
my
buy it
God,
on
you're
Facebook
terrible.
Marketplace.
You're terrible.
January 1st will be the end of the world.
Go ahead.
Hey
Carl.
guys, Jim Pacer fan, $10 super chat. Thank you. Says, have
Jim.
any of you played with a Quest 3? Merry Christmas.
Not yet.
Not yet, man. I
Not
still
yet.
got my Quest 2 or whatever it's called. I haven't upgraded yet. Man,
It's
that's
still
just
going strong.
it's still like $500-$600, isn't it?
Yeah, it only recently came out. It's gonna probably stick with that. But even though the MetaQuest 2 didn't really drop in price for a little while, so
Yeah. I never should have bought another pinball machine. I just everything just is sad right now. Let's see here. Does it come with a metal plate with Michael B's signature? There you guys go.
it's got the Michael B stamp of authenticity.
Right, that's why the coin door is so
Oh my
small,
God.
because Michael B's got to have his banner.
I
down there.
shouldn't have said anything. I was so excited
All
because
right.
this was so cool. that a
I'll tell
company
you what.
actually reached out to you and asked you
I'll tell you what.
advice. I was just
Mike,
so excited to say.
Michael B, I'll tell you what. If they're going to do that for you, I would be willing to take AtGames money and license this image out to them to put on the coin doors for everybody. Because you obviously got to have your pinkies up to afford these arcade and pinball machines in
Ooh,
2024.
there's the other thing, Glenn. I don't know if you caught it. Glenn did a little video advertising his new GRS shotgun this past week.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
did
have
not see
anything on that? I saw it.
yeah,
I didn't.
yeah.
Does that work for the PC?
Oh yeah, that'll work with a PC. I was thinking about it earlier, watching one of the games you were playing. Glenn's shotgun would be perfect for that.
Yeah, I liked it. I played it when we were in Cleveland. Cheers.
Yeah.
I wasn't into light counts then, so I didn't know what I was
Yeah.
looking at.
Biggie D wants to know, when is the Adams Family coming out? I have no clue, man. I'm waiting on AtGames to send me an email to say, hey, we're shipping the product. You gotta pay off your balance and get your machine. So I have no clue, man. To my knowledge, these things haven't even left China yet. So we'll see what happens. They said they were supposed to ship. Now, in my opinion, when they say ship, it doesn't mean ship from their California warehouse to customers. It means they're
No.
supposed to actually leave China and be put on a boat and make a several week journey over to the United States. That's why they said shipping will be between December 25th and January 31st. So that's just my opinion of how that information came out. As of today, we haven't got confirmation from them that they've put any machines on any boats. So hopefully they'll say something soon. That's on AtGames to announce and let people know they're on their way.
So Anth Jr. Nostalgia wins most of them, to tell you the truth. I talk big, but Nostalgia is the real brains behind this.
Yeah. So Sidearms, I got good news for you. Thanks so much for the $5 super check. I can't be the only one that needs AtGames to raise the control panel height. It's not a candy cab. Why do I have to sit down? Here's the other thing, dude. Buy Stuff Arcades. They make like 4 and 6 inch risers for these AtGames machines. I got like that Tetris back there, guys. That's on a 4-inch riser.
That's a huge amount. 4 inches is so massive.
I know that Legends Ultimate Mini is on a 4-inch riser. This one is not on a riser, and that 4 inches brought that up to the same height as this one. So I'm pretty sure.
Trust me, if anybody tells you they need more than 4 inches, they're lying.
I'm pretty sure there'll be options, is what I'm saying.
No, believe me, that feedback has been provided several times to AtGames that their products are a little bit too short. Oh! But I don't know. Yeah, I know. So here's the thing: as much as
Glenn's boomstick is going to be $300.
So apparently, I haven't seen the price yet, but if it's $300, I will tell you this about Glenn: the markup on that is negative $50. Glenn's basically paying you $50 to take a shotgun.
That's
because Glenn is nuts. He's the worst businessman ever. He's like, hey guys, I got this wonderful product and I'm gonna give it to you at a loss. Game on.
Did we do the $10 super chat?
Which one?
Oh yeah, that was the Quest 3 one. Sorry, I just saw it still sitting there. Okay, yeah, that was Quest 3. All right, guys, we need to start wrapping things up here. We've gone a little bit longer than I thought we would tonight. Let's end the poll. Let's take a look and see what the final results are. Would you rather? We played a game called Would You Rather with the live chat. Would you rather spend $12.99 on something else? Wins at 36%. Long live the Michael B. Cade is at 26%.
6%.
Spend $12.99 on the Unico Nova Blast, 21%. Spend $12.99 on an ALU 4K, 15%. But if you include that with the Michael B. Cades,
that's 41%, baby.
I guess that wins the poll because, there you go.
That's right. 41% of people voting said they're going to buy the ALU 4K.
Wow.
And they would pay $1,300.
I'm going to be so goddamn broke over the next 8 months with all these products coming out and people wanting to get paid. You know what I mean?
You got to get second jobs like me. I work for Arcade1Up. I work for AtGames.
You do all the design work for all the graphic design work.
Mike B is now the official cabinet designer of the AtGames 4K product line, guys.
How much do you think I'm getting paid? Because I know how much it is. How much?
Oh, Mike.
I know how much it is too.
All right.
Yeah.
James hates everything. $20 super chat, and guys, make sure you check out his YouTube channel. He's actually got a very interesting take on things. Thank you for another great year. I always look forward to Friday nights. Thanks so much, James. It's super nice of you.
You know what? Before we move on, you know what I think I'm actually most excited for about the ALU 4K?
What?
Okay, so we've talked about the upgraded chipset, and what I think that they could do. What I think that could actually be viable, because AtGames has a bigger user base, they could actually attain some of the quality Android games and port them over to the ALU. Cool. Yeah. They could get a ton of other games like the Streets of Rage and stuff like that. Obviously, maybe not that title specifically, but you know where I'm going, because all those games will run perfectly fine on that chipset. That chipset is more than capable of running most Android titles that you would find in the App Store. So maybe we'll get a little taste of that on the arcade machine. So that would be pretty good.
Interesting.
I'd like to see him go out and get, especially if they're going to be able to get it up and running with online play, for them to go out and get some other classic arcade titles. Like, obviously, there's not a lot of value for us that do like the modding and bring your own game, but if there's a bunch of people, Nostalgia said this, that don't even play. What is it with the what are they called?
Like to bring your own games. And
Yeah,
the
they don't
add-on
even
X
do
and
that.
the
They just
coin
play the
ops.
game. So there would be a ton of people that would possibly go out and add something. Like, say, for example, they brought Mortal Kombat or they brought something like that. And then if they added in some online features, I think that'd be really cool for AtGames to do as well.
Mike, could you answer this?
No, I canceled the Bit Blaster. It was too stupid. I'm trying to get them to do Sinden.
And Carl, you want to handle this?
Jason Little Alien, $10 super chat. Happy holiday, boys. Appreciate all the streams and the laughs this past year. Best to you and your families for 2024.
Yep.
Thank you, Jason.
I think Biggie D would have been captain of the $75 Arcade1Up Club. He never wants to spend any money on anything. It's over.
Well,
it's
yeah,
over.
like-
It's over $25. I'm out.
Like he was
You
saying
can't
earlier, he
please
was like,
everyone.
man, they're going to have to do something to get me to spend $1,000 on that AtGames Legends Ultimate 4K. And I was like, Biggie, you were getting one for $200 used in 8 years.
I thought he was trolling me because he finally pulled the trigger on a Fast and Furious, and I was like,
Yeah.
Did you buy it? He's like, yeah, I did. I was like, no, you didn't. You never buy anything. You never spend any money on anything. And he sent me a picture of it on his doorstep, and I was like, holy shit, he did buy something. Good for you, man.
You got to reverse Google image that though. Make sure
Welcome.
it's not something he sniped off Facebook from somebody else.
Welcome to the Wasting Money Club, because that's what we all do.
So I almost bought something today, and I really had to pull back. If I never bought the Portal yesterday, I would have bought it today. But here in Canada, if you're a Canadian, I know we're in the minority. We didn't get the Street Fighter 2 Deluxe cab, so we just didn't get it. It's not available at retail. It's only available through one place, which is on Amazon.ca through a company called Spreetail, which I think is also As Seen on TV or Shop Hippo. So same company. Anyways, it's on there for Spreetail. That went on sale today for $492 Canadian, which works out to about $70 more Canadian than the $299 deal currently going on in the US for Street Fighter 2. So if you're a Canadian, you want a Street Fighter 2 Deluxe, this is the lowest you're probably ever going to see it, which is through that Spreetail retailer. Never come into retail here. Maybe go out and get it if you're interested. I almost bought it, but I spent $700 on Christmas gifts today and $310 on a PlayStation Portal yesterday. So I was a little tapped out.
So, final thing. Next week is December 29th, next Friday, a couple days before the big New Year celebration. Question for the panel here. Do you guys want to do a show next week? And people in the live chat, do you guys want us to do a show next week? Or is this it for the year? What are we doing here, guys? Let's make a decision now and stick with it.
What if there's no news to talk about, P-Dubs? What happens? Aren't you worried that if we
We could just hang out. We could do a fake countdown.
Let's not make a decision now. Let's see how the week goes and see what our schedule's like. We all are busy. We've got families. We don't just sit around on the computer waiting for something to complain about.
I already checked my calendar. I'm free on the 29th, but I am not free on the 30th or 31st.
Yeah. So
Not 30th. That's the Lions in Dallas game.
You'll be in Dallas next week?
No, I'll be watching here.
Will Nostalgia be involved?
Anyways, can we just see how the holidays play out and make a decision as the week goes on? I don't think we need to say whether or not we're going to do a show next week now.
Mike, it might be really cool if we do a show next week, because something might be delivered by next week.
Oh yeah, there was pinball news we forgot to mention while I'm talking about that.
Oh no!
Here we go.
Nostalgia's
Buckle
getting
up,
his
boys.
ALP 4KP next week.
I am?
No, but
be
there
great.
was. Sorry. Before we go, a little bit of weird news and concerning news. If you're a pinball enthusiast, and I see my buddy Nicholas Diorio in here, and I know he's a recently converted pinball enthusiast. So the last couple of years, we've been getting a lot of Bally Williams remakes through Chicago Gaming Company. They did an excellent job on Attack from Mars, Medieval Madness. People are buying Cactus Canyons now. They're also tied in with the Pulp Fiction table from Raw Thrills, so they're working on that. They actually lost the rights to the Bally Williams remake, and now another new pinball company, an unknown resource, has taken that over. So I'm a little bit concerned about the future of the Bally Williams remakes. There was some rumors about possibly a Twilight Zone remake coming up in the near future, but I mean, I know Chicago Game Company does a really good job. I don't know what this new company is going to be like.
Yes, it's always interesting when a brand new company enters the space. You don't know how good it's going to be, but like for example, Barrels of Fun came in and made Labyrinth and blew people away at the conventions. So, you know, you never know what could happen.
I actually heard that table was terrible, and the only reason people were saying it good is because they were in the alley blowing people.
You're terrible. Holy crap. This
I know.
super chat for $50 from Chris. Merry Christmas. Thanks for a great year of fun. Okay, guys, we'll probably do a show. Carl, send everyone on their way. Thanks so much. Give us
Hold
a
on,
thumbs up on the
no,
way
that's a
out,
huge
subscribe.
super chat, and I'm told Nostalgia will do just about anything for $50. I mean, $20 is $20, but 50. Oh,
The problem is that's only $49.99. It's not even 50. So
it's true.
No, but Chris, that's
thanks,
very,
Nooner.
very generous. Dude,
Yes,
thank you.
yes,
Thank
Nick,
you so much,
yes,
man.
yes, Nicholas. I bought another real pinball machine, and it's supposed to ship. Actually, it shipped today. With the holiday, it'll be delayed, but it might arrive by middle end of next week. If it's here before Friday, we might show it off live
As
on
the
the
first
show.
time, a live reveal, P-Dubs?
Yeah, we might.
You won't show it anywhere else.
I'll do it right here. Unlike Michael B,
you're amazing.
I care about this show.
That's right. You support. You and I and Carl are the trifecta here.
It's a surprise, but it's really cool, Zero. It's a surprise. All right, we got to get out of here. Carl, thanks so much,
no.
everyone.
If you guys want to know, it's 1-800.
Oh, wait. He was going to do his Game Genie rumors. And
So
ruined it.
honestly, guys, I do know what he's getting. And if you guys want to know, it's 1-800 Genie Room.
Oh my God. That's Carl doing it.
I'm going to
That's
pee
Carl.
on you.
That's
I'm
Carl.
gonna literally pee on you.
Carl, send them on their way. We got to go. Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. Bye.
Hey, guys. Thanks for watching, man. We appreciate you every Friday, man. We want you to spend time with your family, enjoy the holidays. Hopefully you get a day of rest. You may see us next week. If not, you'll see us next year. And until next time, we'll see you guys on the web.
Don't turn us off yet.
No.
We just got, yeah, there we go.
Super chat from JR.
Quote of the night.
So no Super Game Room dues on December 29th. Is this a sign that Super Game Room dues are going out of business? Stay tuned.
Wait, ladies and gentlemen, we have big news to share. The Super Game Room dudes will not be at CES in January. Can't wait to see the YouTube